Finally, in what was supposed to be an exciting opening tip-off for the new season, with a rivalry game between the Indiana Fever and the Chicago Sky, has now turned into a league investigation involving racist comments hurled towards Angel Reese. This after a foul from Caitlin Clark set off a frenzy. So let's take a look at this and more in tonight's main event. And let's bring in front office sports reporter Colin Salao, who was at the game over the weekend. Colin, thanks so much for joining us. So tell us a little bit about what happened at the arena. Obviously, we know that this was a normal take foul from Caitlin Clark, but why did it get such a big reaction from fans?
I mean, it's this, so-called rivalry between these two, big stars in the league. And when you have any hard foul, against Caitlin Clark in general, there's been discussions about it, but specifically it was Clark toward Reese this time around. And it did seem quite like a push, and you could see that she pushed and obviously received the flagrant foul. You can talk about, whether you think that was deserved or not, but, you're in Indiana. I know, Angel Reese had been getting a reaction all game long. She was the only player booed during the player introductions. That's what I vividly remember. So it's very obvious why there was a reaction. In terms of what I've seen and read, the allegations, I can't, I didn't necessarily see anything on that, but there was definitely a reaction toward Reese even before the incident happened.
Interesting. And we have heard and seen the statements that have come out from the WNBA, the WNBPA. Both teams issue statements just around not having any tolerance for racism in the league specifically. It has that Larry Bird, Magic Johnson feel when you look at just the history and the rivalry that's going between these two. In your opinion, Colin, how can the WNBA continue to leverage the competition, the rivalry, without also maybe poking and continuing to further perpetuate some of the discriminatory, racist specific comments, as this has become a black versus white issue with Caitlin and Angel?
Yeah, it's a very nuanced question, right? Because it's clear that this is going to help them grow. I don't think, it's funny when you listen to Caitlin. I was at the game. She mentioned Angel Reese just one time in the pre and post game press conference, and it was to talk about how she's a good defender, essentially. And when she was asked about the rivalry, she said something to the lines of, "Oh, you guys like it." So it's funny that the two of them are kind of straying away from the rivalry, but the league is has put all 5 games on national television. So to answer your question directly, it's a very nuanced line. I think that they have to continue pushing it because it is part of the game, and it's very tricky to find like an exact way to avoid it other than to continue to spread awareness, at least from my vantage point.
Mm-hmm. Well, is there a way for the W to fix this? I mean, obviously this isn't just specific to the WNBA. Obviously soccer and other sports deal with racist and homophobic chants from a lot of fans that are out there. But is this an issue that the W feels like they need to get under control if they're going to grow this rivalry?
Yeah, I think it's not even just about growing the rivalry. It's about growing the league at large. Alyssa Thomas and Dejanay Carrington talked last year about how they experienced those comments. And we have the CBA coming up. That's definitely going to be a discussion there because it's not just going to be about players wanting more money. It's about them being treated the right way by the fans. And at the same time, I think the fans are going to get sick of the conversation as well if this continues to be around league. I've been seeing that on social media as well, where it's like, well, to what point is this going to be, exhausting to keep going back to? So I think that there needs to be, a little bit of a step back on all sides. And I'm interested to see how the WNBA solves it, even with the CBA coming up.
It's interesting because with that dominant 35-point win this weekend, we're not talking about Caitlin Clark's triple-double or the double-double by Aaliyah Boston. We're not talking about the Fever even passing 1 million Facebook followers, which is the first WNBA team to do so on any platform. We're talking about these comments and this issue. Why now, do you think, Colin? We've seen whether it's the Sue Bird, Dinah Taurasi, or on the other side, Cynthia Cooper, Shamika Holtzclaw, great legends on both sides in terms of demographics. But why now do you think that these two have stirred the pot so much in terms of causing this reaction?
I mean, of course, it's the added attention to the league and the fact that there is such a boost in attention that's related to these two players. But to your point, Monica McNutt has talked about it on ESPN so much. Are the media outlets going to be the ones to stir it the opposite way? DeWanna Bonner became the third all-time leading scorer in that game, and doesn't seem to be getting that much attention. So I think it's up to people like us to see if we can move the needle on the other side.
Well, these two teams play each other in just a few weeks, the first week of June. So we'll see what happens between now and then. Colin Salao, our front office sports reporter, joining us. Colin, thank you so much.
Colin.